What if I told you that one man's love for his father inspired him to spend his entire life trying to build a real time machine? It may sound like science fiction, but this story is based on real people, real science, and one of the greatest mysteries in physics. Can we actually travel through time? Did a scientist really try to build a time machine? And are there mysterious cases that suggest time travel might already have happened? Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you'll discover the science, the mysteries, and the astonishing truth behind humanity's greatest dream: time travel. In 1955, in a small house in America, a TV repairman was taking his final breaths. The sound of his labored breathing echoed throughout the room. Sitting beside him was his frightened 10-year-old son, watching helplessly. With every passing second, his father's breathing became weaker. Then suddenly, the room fell silent. The father had passed away. The little boy broke down in tears. For him, his father was his entire world. At just 10 years old, it felt as though his whole life had been taken away. He desperately wished he could somehow bring his father back. Growing up without a father was incredibly difficult. He could have turned to crime just to survive. But instead, he chose a different path. He devoted himself to studying. Books became his closest companions. One day, while reading, he came across a book that completely changed his life. The book discussed the possibility of time travel. From that moment on, he became obsessed with one dream. He wanted to build a time machine. Not for fame. Not for money. But simply to travel back in time and meet his father one last time. However, dreaming was easy. Building a time machine was not. As he searched for answers, he discovered Albert Einstein's theory of relativity. The more he studied Einstein's work, the more he believed that time travel might actually be possible. That young boy eventually grew up to become renowned astrophysicist Dr. Ronald Mallett. He dedicated his life to researching one question: can a time machine really be built? Dr. Mallett's idea was based on Einstein's concept of spacetime. According to relativity, gravity bends the fabric of space and time. The stronger the gravity, the greater the distortion. And the greater the distortion, the slower time passes. Dr. Mallett believed that if space-time could be twisted instead of merely bent, it might be possible to create a pathway through time. To test this theory, he designed an experiment using powerful laser beams. His idea was that a circulating ring of laser light could create a tiny twisting effect in spacetime. If this effect could be made strong enough, it might one day make time travel possible. Although his proposal attracted worldwide attention, many scientists remained skeptical. They argued that the experiment was only a small laboratory demonstration. Even if it worked on a tiny scale, there was no proof it could ever transport a human being through time. Another major problem also remained unanswered. Even if someone could travel into the past, how would they return to the present? No one had a convincing answer. Scientists also worried about the consequences of changing history. If someone altered an event in the past, what would happen to the future? Could history itself be rewritten? These questions remain unanswered even today. As time passed, public interest in time machines gradually faded. Many people assumed the idea would remain nothing more than science fiction. But years later, an extraordinary story on the internet brought the mystery of time travel back into the spotlight. Time travel. The man who tried to build a time machine just when people had almost forgotten about time travel. A mysterious story suddenly appeared on the internet. It began on an online forum where people discussed theories about time travel. A user calling himself John Titor claimed he was an American soldier from the year **2036. According to him, he had been sent on a secret government mission through time. His mission was to travel back to ***1975*** and retrieve an old IBM computer. He claimed that this machine contained a unique component needed to solve a critical computer problem in the future. According to John, after completing his mission, he made an unexpected stop in the year **2000. He said he wanted to visit his family and spend some time with them before returning to 2036. Over the following months, John answered hundreds of questions online. He described how his alleged time machine worked. He even shared diagrams and technical explanations. Many people believed he was telling the truth. Others dismissed the entire story as an elaborate hoax. Eventually, John Titor disappeared from the internet as mysteriously as he had appeared. He never returned. Even today, no one knows who was really behind the account. Some people still believe he was a genuine time traveler. Others believe it was one of the greatest internet mysteries ever created. But John's story raised an important scientific question. If time travel were possible, could we change the past? This question led scientists to discuss one of physics' most famous ideas, the Novikov self-consistency principle. This principle suggests that even if time travel becomes possible, history cannot be changed. According to this idea, any attempt to alter the past would ultimately fail or become part of history itself. In other words, the universe would prevent any event that creates a contradiction. To understand this concept, consider the famous grandfather paradox. Imagine traveling back in time and preventing your grandfather from having children. If your grandfather never had children, your parents would never be born. If your parents were never born, then you wouldn't exist. But if you never existed, who traveled back in time to change history? This creates a logical contradiction. According to the Novikov principle, such contradictions simply cannot happen. No matter what you try to do, events would unfold in a way that preserves history. The universe would always correct itself. That means you might be able to visit the past, but you would never be able to change events that have already happened. If this idea is correct, then time travel might be possible without creating paradoxes. However, it would also mean that changing history is impossible. This remains one of the biggest unanswered questions in modern physics. Even today, scientists continue debating whether time travel could ever become a reality. And if it does, what limits would nature place on it? Time travel. The man who tried to build a time machine, even if changing the past is impossible, does that mean time travel itself is impossible? Not necessarily. Many scientists believe there could be other ways to experience unusual effects related to time. Some theories involve parallel universes. Others involve a mysterious phenomenon known as a time slip. Let's begin with the idea of parallel universes. According to some interpretations of modern physics, our universe may not be the only one that exists. There could be countless parallel universes existing alongside our own. Each universe might have its own version of reality. Some scientists speculate that, under extremely rare conditions, these universes could briefly overlap. If that happened, people might witness places or events that don't belong to their own reality. Although there is no scientific proof that this has ever happened, several strange cases have been reported over the years. One such story involves a family living in a small American town. According to the report, the family had recently moved into a quiet neighborhood. Their daily routine was completely normal. The father went to work. The mother looked after the house. Their 2 children spent their afternoons playing behind the house. One day, while exploring a nearby road, the children experienced something very unusual. As soon as they stepped onto the road, the entire surroundings appeared to change. The busy street suddenly became completely empty. The familiar neighborhood disappeared. In its place stood tall, deep red trees unlike anything they had ever seen before. The silence was unsettling. Everything looked strange, almost as if they had entered another world. Frightened, they quickly ran back home. The next day, they returned to the same location. This time, everything looked perfectly normal. The road was once again filled with people and traffic. The mysterious red trees had completely vanished. There was no sign that anything unusual had ever happened. When the children told their parents about the incident, very few people believed them. Some dismissed it as imagination. Others wondered whether they had experienced something science cannot yet explain. A few researchers suggested that, if the story were true, it might resemble the hypothetical idea of a brief overlap between parallel universes. However, there is absolutely no scientific evidence proving that such an event actually occurred. Stories like these remain mysteries rather than established facts. Even today, the existence of parallel universes remains one of the most fascinating, but completely unproven, theories in modern physics. Perhaps future discoveries will reveal whether these mysterious experiences are simply misunderstandings, or glimpses into realities beyond our own. Time travel. The man who tried to build a time machine, but what if the strange experiences reported by people have nothing to do with parallel universes? There is another fascinating idea known as a time slip. A time slip is a phenomenon in which a person appears to briefly experience a different time period while remaining in the same location. Unlike traditional time travel, a time slip is believed to happen suddenly and without any machine. One of the most famous stories connected to this phenomenon dates back to ** 1901. Two English women, Charlotte Ann Moberly ** and * Eleanor Jourdain ** traveled to France for a holiday. While visiting the Palace of Versailles, they decided to explore the palace grounds. As they wandered through the gardens, they suddenly felt that something was different. The atmosphere became unusually quiet. The surroundings appeared strangely unfamiliar. According to their later account, they saw people wearing clothing from the 18th century. They also claimed to have seen a woman sitting outside, calmly sketching. Later, they came to believe that the woman resembled * Queen Marie Antoinette. Moments later, everything suddenly returned to normal. The gardens looked exactly as they do today. The strangely dressed people had vanished. The women later published a book describing their experience. The story became known as * the Versailles Time Slip. Over the years, many researchers have tried to explain what happened. Some believe the women experienced an unusual psychological event. Others think it may have been a misunderstanding caused by the unfamiliar surroundings. And some enthusiasts believe they briefly witnessed a scene from the past. To this day, there is no scientific evidence proving that the incident involved actual time travel. It remains one of history's most famous unexplained stories. Stories like these naturally raise an important question. If time travel were ever possible, would we really be able to visit the past? Or would we simply observe it without changing anything? Modern physics has no definitive answer. Einstein's theory allows time to behave in extraordinary ways under extreme conditions. Scientists have even confirmed that time passes at different rates depending on gravity and speed. However, traveling backward through time remains entirely theoretical. No experiment has ever demonstrated that a human being can travel into the past. For now, time machines exist only in scientific theories and science fiction. Yet researchers continue studying black holes, wormholes, quantum mechanics, and the nature of spacetime in hopes of uncovering new possibilities. Perhaps one day, humanity will finally understand whether time travel is truly possible. Until then, it remains one of science's greatest mysteries. So what do you think? Could time travel become a reality in the future? Or will it always remain an impossible dream? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more fascinating videos about science, history, and the mysteries of our universe.